Yes.
Hello. Hello and welcome to another team profile and projection here on Talkin Baseball, where we're doing an episode a day every day until opening day. So subscribe to the YouTube channel or the podcast if you are enjoying them. Today's team is the Angels. 26th is the rank you guys gave them. They finished 4th in the AL West last year after an absolute collapse the last 2 months of the year. They traded for some guys. They went in on the deadline because they had Ohtani, and then they lost, and they lost Ohtani. And now they're trying to see what life's all about without him. Jake, what have they done?
They've addressed their bullpen. Matt Moore comes back to town after being traded at the deadline. Robert Stevenson, we talked about his resurgence. He gets the nice free agent contract. Luis Garcia, who got some big outs for the Padres the past few years. Adam Simber, El Grosso from where he throws. Nice guy. So a lot of pen arms there. They just got Aaron Hicks has some depth. Zach Plesac has some depth. A couple minor league guys and names you'd know. But who they lost, there's one big guy. Shohei Ohtani. He's gone. He went across town. After that, I mean, not a lot of pieces. You know, Gio Urshela played around a lot for them. Malibu Mike, CJ Crone, Eddie Escobar. Some MLB bodies you know and love there. But the big one, the guy we've talked about a lot this offseason, and it'll be one of our storylines. But Trev, how's the Halos lineup, man?
There's a note on our sheet here about this Halos lineup. And again, we'll always say, you know your team better than we know your team. Dalton put in the top of the order via Fangraphs, and then what Angels fans seem to want or believe is uncoordinated. So this is our best guess at it. At the top of the lineup, Luis Renifo, second baseman, nice young player there. You get Taylor Ward, most likely in left field. We'll see how the whole Aaron Hicks situation shakes out. But Taylor Ward, Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon. Don't forget about that guy. How could you? Brandon Drury, Mickey Moniak. That's another Aaron Hicks situation there. Logan O'Hoppy's going to be the primary catcher. That's going to be nice to see. Nolan Shanuel, on-base machine, kind of like a Oakland A's type first baseman. Needs the pop to come through. We'll talk a little bit more about him. And then my guy, Zach Neto, at shortstop. So I've been on this program saying how I bought all the Angel stock. I do like some of the young guys here. I do like this lineup, especially if Trout is healthy in the middle of it. That obviously helps a lot. On the bench, we have Aaron Hicks. We talked about Joe Adell. That's up in the air. If he makes the roster or not, he's out of options. But Hicks coming in kind of creates a little bit of a roadblock there. Michael Stefanik and Matt Thaiss. I knew it. I just didn't want to mess it up, so I went down to the pronunciation key. That's the lineup. That's the bench. James, tell me about the rotation in the bullpen.
Well, the rotation has 5 guys listed. We may get Snell or Monty added by the time this comes out. I think they're trying to. We got Reed Detmers, Griffin Canning, Patrick Sandoval, Tyler Anderson, Chase Silseth as the 5. Now, they've had a 6-man rotation for a while because Ohtani was in it as the 6th man, and there hasn't been many additions here, but I think they're going to land one of those 2 guys, I think. So we'll see what that changes. Otherwise, these guys have been there, and they've been consistently inconsistent, I think. Or actually, I think Detmers and Canning and Anderson were pretty consistent. Sandoval had one bad month, and he had some really good starts as well. So that's the rotation in the bullpen. Carlos Estevez, a lot of guys Jake named, Robert Stevenson, Matt Moore, Luis Garcia, Adam Simber, Ben Joyce, Jose Soriano, and Jose Suarez. I can kick us off with the first storyline of the Angels if you guys want. It's Shohei is gone. And how does that affect, Ron Mashington, his old nickname.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ron Washington is in as the new manager. Shohei's gone. And that's a pretty big hole, a pretty big hole. Does it allow them to move Trout to DH way more often? Does that help out? I think his injuries last year came from batting anyway. But this guy, Trout, hasn't played over 120 games in the last 5 years or something like that. Counting 2020 isn't fair, but I think it's since 2019. So I think that's a key. When Mike Trout went out last year, they all of a sudden became easy to pitch around Ohtani because Trout wasn't there. Or, just choose one. You don't have to get around both of them. Because they were really good the first 4 months last year. They had an over 500 winning record in every month. So I don't know, maybe we're not really good, but they were good. They were a winning ball club for 4 straight months, and then they just went 200% ball club 200 when Trout left. So I don't know. I think they can do it without Ohtani. They would need Ward, who had facial reconstruction surgery, came back last month of the year last year. Ward was awesome. If he can return to that, which he did for like a year-ish before injuries, and help Trout out, that would be the answer. I don't know if I believe in that, but that would be the answer of how they fix Ohtani and sign Snell.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ohtani is such a massive, player and personality and all these things that's just gone. They didn't win with him there. How about that, Angels fans? You know that. So, I think you just have to move on to the future here. You have some good players on the roster right now. There was 6 or 7 guys that came up a little bit last year that are going to be impactful on the team this year. Guys, on the precipice of the big leagues. So you're going to have to replace a lot of production from there. I do think, James, you're totally right. Trout's going to see more time at DH. Hopefully that keeps him more healthy. Just gets him off his feet a little bit. He's got to learn that routine and get that down. That's the biggest way to fill up Ohtani, is just to have Mike Trout be Mike Trout. There's some good stuff going on here. And hopefully by the time we're recording this on February 1st, it's February 20th right now that you're listening or watching this. I'm hoping they made a big splash in the starting pitching market. I really, really am. Because you got to have that. They have some promise here. There's some young guys coming up. There's some hitters. There's some defense being played. But we got to have that starter to get in there and fortify this rotation.
Yeah, and it's funny that the 2 big guys that at least we're thinking of, they're also lefty because Detmers and Sandoval are kind of their biggest locks. So, hey, the lefty Angels, if they do that. And even without that, I do feel like if I'm a big tier list guy, that's what all the kids click on YouTube, I feel like we just jumped up a tier. I know the Angels as a franchise, it's hard, man. I've gone with they've already burnt me too many times, and that's been 3 years. So I can only imagine how some Halo fans feel. But I do like a lot of the young talent on the roster. You have Mike Trout, Brandon Drury. He deserves some more respect for his career resurgence that had a lot of weird stuff tied to it. And I do want to talk about the bullpen because I think, and maybe I'll start scrolling a little bit, but they have Estevez back there, who he finished the season pretty tough, but he was nails for the first half or so. Robert Stevenson, I don't want to say it's a coin flip. He learned something new, and it's been clicking in a talented arm. Again, you start looking at the team on the front of the jersey, it gets a little scary. Matt Moore has just been good, just flat out good, and even with the Angels. Jose Soriano, he came up. He was electric. Ben Joyce has been electric. With Luis Garcia and Adam Simber as your depth bullpen pieces, I think, and again, I mentioned I'm going to start to scroll, I think they're going to be the best bullpen we see for a little bit amongst these teams. I'm going to keep scrolling and see what pops up, but I think for where we are, this Angels bullpen has a real chance to click.
I could see that. I love the Stevenson shout out. We mentioned, I don't know if it was on this show earlier in the year, about Robert Stevenson and Kyle Snyder in Tampa last year, just altering his pitch grip a little bit on that cutter slider and it turning into one of the most dominating pitches in the game. Hey, you got that in the back of your bullpen now, Angels. That's nice. I think we're seeing a lot. I agree with you about jumping up a tier from the teams we've already talked about. I think there is some promise with this Angels team. A lot of it does hinge on if they can get the starting pitching, but they also have some guys that are coming back in, like Logan O'Hoppe behind the dish. If you can have, I think on our notes, it says he has he's projected by Zips, which is the Fangraphs projection system, to have the second highest weighted runs created plus of all catchers in 2024. And we always talk about on the show, like that's a cheat code. If you have a catcher that can rake, like that is, you have a leg up on a lot of different teams. So there's offensive production kind of coming from all different angles in this lineup. There's some defense being played. I think Ron Washington and Anthony Rendon, that relationship to me might be the biggest storyline of the year. Maybe not to Angels fans, but that's what I'm almost most interested in, because Ron Washington is known for putting in work, and that is it. And I don't know if he's going to pass off that work now that he's the manager to somebody else, his infield coach. I'm assuming he will, but he expects his players to be out there doing the Ron Washington program. That includes especially Anthony Rendon at third base. If Rendon buys into the culture and Ron Washington can somehow light a fire under that ass, which hasn't happened so far. He's had some bad quotes in the offseason. If he can do that and Rendon's like, you know what, maybe I do like baseball again, that's another step forward for the Angels. So there's all these things. They have to go right. But if they do, like I'm telling you guys, like there's something about this lineup that I'm like, okay, this could really click.
I agree. I don't know where I'm going to land in comparison to the division, in comparison to the over-under, which I don't know. But I do like Ron Washington coming in. I like that hire. I'm worried about the rotation, but I want them to go get one of those guys, Snell or Monty. I think that helps a little bit. But I like what they did with Shanuel last year. I mean, this kid has got like 20 starts in the minors.
Yeah.
But he's pretty polished in his approach. You know, he played a lot of college ball. He had a 402 on base percentage, and they called him up when the season was dead last year, and they batted him leadoff, and they said, go get accustomed. This is your minor league seasoning. I would bat him leadoff in front of Trout if he's seeing the ball that well. If he's going to take his walks and have a 400 on base percentage or, you know, high threes and can hit fastballs in the zone before you get the Trout and then Rendon, or if Ward's back there, like I kind of like that top four. I think what Washington needs to do is have them start running. I don't think they were running at all last year. And they do have above average speed in a lot of areas on this team. But I think they were below average. And yeah, they were below average in stolen bases. They were below average in, where were they? Pretty low in extra bases taken. They're below average in all the base running metrics. You got some guys that can go do that extra fun stuff, and I think Washington should bring, some of the older school managers. I like them bring stability to the lineup, stability to the bullpen with roles, and moving some situational base running and situational hitting. So I think if they can do that, I think they'll be a pretty fun watch, and I think they can win games. I don't know what I'm saying against the division at all. I'm just saying I don't think they're going to be like Jake said, an embarrassment like some of the other teams we've talked about previously are.
I like Ron Washington. I think I like Perry. How do you say it? Manazian?
Manazian.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that Angels logo can be tough, and I know a lot of their fans aren't the biggest fan of the owner, but man, Ron Washington with a couple young infielders. You do have Mike Trout there. Like I don't know. I'm filled with regret.
I'm hoping the over-under is low so I can take the over.
I'm filled with regret.
It's decent. Are we there? Yeah, I do want to mention that not only did they do that with Shanuel, that Neto only had like 200 at-bats in the minor leagues as well. Like they rushed these guys, and they're basically saying, let's see what you got, and we're going to let you struggle. You're going to play. Shanuel had a 400 on base percentage in the big leagues. He had a 500 on base percentage in the little amount of minor league games that he played. So that's a skill set that this guy has.
Man, I'm excited for this one. The DraftKings over under. Make sure you download the DraftKings Sportsbook. Go get some MLB over-unders in. Go get your NBA bets in. The season's in full swing. And with that, you can get a bonus bet back up to $1,000 in the amount of your original bet if it does not hit. Minimum deposit is $5, and you can sign up using promo code TALKIN to get that no sweat bet. They've got the daily DraftKings stuff. That's how they started. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code TALKIN and get a no sweat bet. That's promo code TALKIN only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. What's the number?
71.5, James. And as a reminder to the people listening, they finished last year 73-89.
Yeah. On August 1st, I believe they were on pace for 85 wins. And then it's just like, oh my God, crapped out.
August and September, 8-19, 8-19.
Yeah.
Yikes. After they decided to keep Shohei, 8-19, 8-19.
Yeah. April 15-13, May 15-13, June 14-13, July 12-11. You know, it's 4 months of above 500 ball, on pace for 85 wins, and then it just the last 2 months. And now in September, I don't even really count because once they were out, they retraded Giolito, but that
And
August,
Shohei was out.
Shohei was out and Trout was out, but that August is brutal. So what's the number? 71.
71.5.
My only dilemma here is like, where do I think they finish in the division? And what's the highest we're going to get out of, a potential 4th, 5th in the division? Like, the Rangers are good. The Astros are good. The A's stink.
Yes.
And the Mariners are good. And I took the under on the A's, so that helps me out here. They're giving some wins away. They finished 4th last year at 73, and this is 71. I'm taking the over. I had the A's losing more games than they won last year.
This is where I run into trouble because I want to take the over here, but now I'm thinking, how many overs have I taken? I think I'm 2-2, Beebs.
You are 2-2.
I will also take the over. I've been singing that I've been buying all the Angels stock. I can't go back my word now. I'm trying to get this thing going this way. That's up, people, if you're just listening. So I will take the over.
Can I put a caveat that, like, if they sign Snell and Monty, I'm taking the over, and if they don't, I'm gonna.
You love the
I'm gonna
caveats.
reserve the right to change my mind.
I approve that one.
Thank you.
It's good. I was going to give you credit, Jim. The right side is the over. Because, Trev, the other thing with Vegas is, what are people betting? Oh, Shohei's gone? So everyone's going under.
Heartstrings, tugging.
Ron Washington, over a full season, has never managed a team under 75 wins. He's got the tools to work with or without Rendon. Were they over 500 with Rendon last year? They sure were. And I don't know. I like the kids. I like the GM. I like the manager. Sometimes in sports, there's a reverse effect when the kingpin leaves. And give me Mike Trout over 82 games this year, right? Like, come on, Trouty. So I think he might have a little redemption in him. And I like the pieces. I like Ron. And I'm back on the table to be broken by the Halos.
Love that for us. Love that for us.
See, I'm fresh start.
Good.
Because I think Angels, everyone's kind of already, like, you realized. Oh. So now let's do it again.
Final Jake Grant.
Okay.
This has been on my brain the whole time. Happens every year. There's some guy that gets called up and then they perform and then they become a top prospect because nobody knows how to scout people at all. The best we do, we still only know how to scout the top 10 guys basically and not even. Neto performed a little bit at the big league level. Shanuel performed a little bit at the big league level. Ohtani performed a little bit at the big league level. Moniak's 25. He had a nice little year. Rengifo went nuts for the second half of last year. He's 26 right now. Like, wash the Halos off of this, and you could be looking at 75 wins here.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I thought your
Didn't know
rant
where
was
you're
like,
going.
yeah, I didn't. Your point's they're going to be good? I thought you were bitching about rankings.
No. Just compared
That
to the other
little-
teams we've talked about when we're saying this guy's going to get a look this year, these guys have gotten looks, are prospects, and have performed a little bit.
Two things. Shout out Mickey Moniak got engaged over the offseason. Good for you, big guy. Or, depending on how you look at life, maybe not good for you. I tend to look at it is good for you. Jake, that freaking piece of hair on your forehead makes you such a wild card that I can't stand it, dude. I can't. You're like a sex symbol right now, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the assistant basketball coach that the head coach gets kicked out, and everyone's like, "Ooh,
Just look like Patino's son."
I don't know if we
I don't know if he
should.
should be in charge.
I don't think
A
he
little
shouldn't.
greasy, but like
Shouldn't be having the reins. Thanks.
Subscribe. Please subscribe.
Please, please, please.
Please.
That other channel.
Oh, yeah, if you do want to win that race.
oh no, that was what I got.